The Architects of the Dark Age, How J.D. Vance, Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump are executing a new order. Introduction: The Web of Influence. A radical ideological shift is taking place at the highest levels of American politics, led by J.D. Vance, Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk. These figures, each representing a different aspect of political, intellectual, technological, and financial power, are driving the neo-reactionary NRX movement, also known as the Dark Enlightenment. Vance, the Vice President of the United States and former U.S. Senator, is closely aligned with Curtis Yarvin, the architect of the Dark Enlightenment, who advocates for the abolition of democracy in favor of a technocratic monarchy. Backing them is Peter Thiel, the Silicon Valley billionaire and PayPal co-founder, whose financial and ideological support has helped elevate anti-democratic, elitist governance models into mainstream conservative thought. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, through his financial power, control over communication platforms, and investments in AI, exerts significant influence in reshaping democratic institutions and public discourse. What does this mean for the future of governance, and how are these ideas reshaping America? Curtis Yarvin and the Dark Enlightenment, the man behind the ideology. Curtis Yarvin, writing under the pseudonym Mencius Moldbug, is the intellectual force behind neo-reactionary NRX thought. He argues that democracy is a failed experiment and that a single centralized ruler, a technocratic monarch, could govern more efficiently and effectively than elected officials. Key beliefs of the Dark Enlightenment: monarchy over democracy. Yarvin believes that a CEO-like leader should rule with absolute authority, without the inefficiencies of elections or legislative gridlock. The cathedral. He coined the term "the cathedral" to describe a self-reinforcing elite system of media, academia, and government institutions that allegedly manipulate society under the guise of democracy. Technocratic authoritarianism. Yarvin sees big tech and AI-driven governance as the future of society, replacing traditional democratic institutions. Extreme and controversial ideas. One of the most shocking ideas associated with Yarvin involved a proposal to convert the underclass into biodiesel to fuel public transportation. Though he later claimed it was a satirical statement, it exemplifies the extremity of his ideological vision. A world where human lives are reduced to assets under the rule of a supreme leader. J.D. Vance, the political face of Dark Enlightenment. From populism to techno-elitism. J.D. Vance, once celebrated as the author of Hillbilly Elegy, has transformed into one of the strongest political voices for the new reactionary right. Vance's political rise was orchestrated by Peter Thiel, who funded his 2022 Senate campaign with $15 million and positioned him as a political figure who could bridge traditional conservative values with Dark Enlightenment ideology. Vance and Yarvin, the connection. While Vance does not publicly endorse Yarvin's most radical ideas, his rhetoric and policy positions reflect the core tenets of the Dark Enlightenment, including skepticism of democracy and calls for a more centralized, leader-driven governance system. Alignment with tech elites who push for corporate-driven governance rather than traditional policymaking. A belief that traditional institutions like the press and universities need to be dismantled to break the hold of the cathedral. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk, the billionaire architects of a post-democratic world. How Thiel and Musk fund the Dark Enlightenment. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are more than just billionaires. They are the financial and ideological engines behind Dark Enlightenment-aligned politicians and technocratic governance models. Thiel has invested in Curtis Yarvin's software startup, 2013, J.D. Vance's political career, Blake Masters' Senate run. Meanwhile, Musk has financially supported Trump, acting as a political disruptor while aligning himself with authoritarian governance models. weakened democratic institutions by controlling media and financial systems, using Twitter, X, and crypto advocacy to reshape public discourse. Promoted universal basic income, UBI, as a tool to pacify the public while automation and AI consolidate elite power. Thiel's and Musk's shared vision, technological acceleration, and elite rule. Both figures support radical technological acceleration, believing that AI, automation, and bioengineering will reshape human civilization. The rise of tech elites as natural rulers, seeing billionaires and technocrats as better suited to govern than elected politicians. A shift toward post-democratic governance where centralized executive power replaces legislative inefficiencies. How these forces are reshaping America. 1. The political takeover. Truth Social and X function as political weapons. Trump's Truth Social acts as a conspiratorial echo chamber, insulating his base from external critique while reinforcing misinformation. Musk's X provides a broader, algorithmically controlled environment where misinformation can spread globally, benefiting post-democratic agendas. Together, these platforms operate as digital political battlegrounds, shaping narratives that undermine democratic institutions. J.D. Vance and Trump are tools of elite-backed governance, each playing a role in undermining democracy while promoting centralization. Thiel's and Musk's funding ensures that NRX ideas gain legitimacy, bringing Dark Enlightenment concepts into conservative governance. The Republican Party is shifting toward a post-democratic structure, where corporate-backed figures push for centralized rule instead of traditional democratic governance. 2. The role of AI and surveillance. Techno-monarchism envisions AI and predictive policing as tools to govern populations more efficiently than elected leaders. Thiel and Musk's investments in AI, surveillance, and crypto align with the NRX vision of controlling society through technology. 3. The erosion of democratic institutions. Truth Social and X as digital arms of the Dark Enlightenment. Truth Social, owned by Trump, and X, formerly Twitter, controlled by Musk, serve as self-contained ideological silos where conspiracy theories, disinformation, and anti-democratic narratives can flourish unchecked. These platforms bypass traditional media scrutiny, allowing their founders to amplify narratives that weaken democratic institutions and promote post-democratic governance models. Musk's control over X ensures algorithmic manipulation of discourse, where AI-driven engagement prioritizes outrage and political radicalization. The result? A parallel information ecosystem that normalizes authoritarianism, erodes democratic accountability, and reinforces elite narratives without oversight. Musk's attacks on financial systems and regulatory bodies align with the NRX goal of dismantling traditional governance. Thiel-backed candidates push for regulatory rollbacks, judicial control, and executive power expansions, moves that weaken democratic norms. The rise of Dark Enlightenment-adjacent thinkers in conservative circles suggests that these ideas are no longer fringe. They are part of mainstream political discourse. Conclusion: the future of America in the age of Dark Enlightenment. The growing alliance between Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, Curtis Yarvin, and Elon Musk signals a paradigm shift in American governance. This shift is not merely theoretical, it is happening now. The two futures America faces. A future where democracy is eroded and techno-authoritarianism takes control, guided by billionaire-backed leaders who believe in ruling through AI, corporate monopolies, and elite governance. A counter-movement that embraces decentralization, intellectual enlightenment, and technology for the people, not for the elites. What can we do? The battle for democracy is not over, but the forces of Dark Enlightenment are gaining ground. The future is in our hands.